can see myself. I think everything is working. Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Or good morning or afternoon if you're watching in a different time zone or at a different time. It is Wednesday, August 18th, and I am Zara Premji. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Markham, Ontario, Canada, and I am here with your weekly Wednesday Facebook Live crafting show. So thank you so much for those that are jumping on. It's so good to see your names popping up. Hello, Lena or Lena? I feel like I want to say Lena. I hope I've got that right, but if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please let me know. Hello, Shirley. Hello, Deborah. Hi, friends. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are all having a great week. It is hump day. We are halfway through the week. 2 more days till the weekend. And oh my goodness, the weeks just seem like they're flying by. And before we know it, um, kids will be back to school and I'll be back to working full time in my day job and summer will be over. But we're not going to think about that right now. In fact, we're actually going to be making a card tonight using the stamp set called Shaded Summer. So clearly I'm not ready to say goodbye to summer. Hello, Keisha. Hi, friend. Hi, Carmen. Hello, Donna. I love all your emojis, your signs, all the things. So awesome. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I have to apologize in advance. My phone might have some interruptions because I think that my mom is trying to call me, and I'll explain why in a second. She literally called me like a minute before I was going to go live, so I had to decline the call. For those of you that I'm Facebook friends with, you might have seen I posted today. It was my parents' 48th anniversary. It is my parents' 48th anniversary, which reminds me that I'm very like I feel like I can't believe that my parents have been married for 48 years, and they had me 2 years after they got married. So you can do the math on my age. And so they're celebrating their 48th anniversary today. And we wanted to actually send them dinner or just do something special for them, my sisters and I. And they already had dinner plans. They were going to a restaurant, a local steakhouse in Markham. And so we decided to call the restaurant yesterday to say we'd like to take care of our parents' bill, but do it as a surprise. And so we just called back today and gave them the credit card number and then said you can let them know at the end of their dinner that their bill is taken care of. And so we it was quite sneaky how we did it all, but they just finished dinner a little while ago, and the maitre d that I had been in contact with sent me pictures of my parents, and he gave them the bill in a sealed envelope. But we took care of my parents' anniversary dinner tonight. So my mom is trying to reach me because I think she's so surprised and wants to maybe say thank you, but I'll have to call her back. But I apologize in advance if my phone, like, because when the phone calls come in, I think things freeze sometimes on the Facebook Live. So I apologize in advance and just stick with me. It'll all be good. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Shanna. Hello, Margaret Ann. Oh, it's so nice to see all your names popping up. Thanks for being here. All right, let me tell you what's up. So we have celebration happening right now. And for those of you that may not have been watching my last few Facebook Lives, we normally have celebration at the beginning of the year. It traditionally or historically has been January, February, March of every year. And this is Stampin' Up's biggest promotion of the year, where you basically get to earn free product. So you get to choose an item for free with a qualifying order, or if you host a party, or place a qualifying order that qualifies as a hosted party, or if you sign up and purchase our starter kit, there's lots of free things to be had. And so so like I said, historically, they've done that January, February, March of every year. And this year, Stampin' Up! Did it January and February of 2021. And they're also doing August and September. So we are kind of in the throes of celebration. People are loving getting their free products. There's quite a wide variety of things that you can choose for free. So you can basically order anything that you want from any of our catalogs or from the clearance rack. And if your order is $60 or more Canadian, then you will get to choose an item from our celebration brochure for free. So I'm going to be actually playing with an item from here that coordinates with a stamp set in our annual catalog called Shaded Summer, as I said. So what I'm going to do is I will flip the camera down And I'm actually gonna I'll show you kind of the covers of the catalogs right now. And then I'm gonna show you some happy mail that I received recently. I celebrated a birthday early in August. And so it's been really kind of a nice, pleasant surprise. Every time I go to the mailbox, there's cards in there. So it's been really nice. So I'm gonna share some of that with you. And then what else? And then I guess we're gonna get started with our crafting. So I'm gonna be making one card. And actually, this card is not one that I've designed on my own. In fact, as a demonstrator, we get a weekly email from Stampin' Up called Succeed Weekly. And there's all these different tips and ideas and things like that in there. Sometimes they have testimonials or success stories, but they'll always have a stamping project or a few stamping projects in there. So last week in our Succeed Weekly, there was a card that was shared that I just fell in love with. And to be really honest, with my kids being home this summer, we had family here. My son just got back from Vancouver. It's just been go, go, go. And I say this all the time in my Facebook Lives that you don't always have to create from scratch. You don't always have to design an original card. You can get inspiration from anywhere. So I'll be actually creating a card that is not my design, but I love it. And many of you might not have already seen it. So hopefully you will enjoy watching this card come together. And if you actually saw the photo in the Succeed Weekly, it'll maybe still be nice to watch it actually being pulled together. And mine is just a wee bit different. No, actually, it's quite similar, but it'll be fun to watch anyway. So I'm going to flip the camera down and please continue commenting. Um, I'm actually going to be drawing for someone to receive the card that I'm making tonight. So please keep commenting and I'll enter you into a draw. And the winner that's selected will get one of the cards mailed to them from me. Okay. If you have any questions, comments, please do continue to chat. And I will get started really shortly. So look away for a second while I flip the camera down and get all oriented. And I promise to try and make it as smooth as possible. And we should be good to go in like 10 seconds. All right, so hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. So hopefully you can see everything. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Hello, friends. If you are new to watching my Facebook Lives, welcome, welcome. I'm super happy to have you here. And I'm always grateful to all of you who take the time out of your evenings to hang out with me and to watch the live and to comment and all the things. And what I really also love is when I get messages or comments, or I get tagged in posts where people have actually taken some of the designs that I've shared and then gone and created their own versions, and then they share that with me, which is really just like the ultimate compliment. And it just makes me so happy that you're inspired to craft. So thank you for sharing this, Dawn. I appreciate it. Thanks, Shirley. Hello, Janice. Hi, Debbie. Okay, so are you guys ready to get started? So I'm just going to show you the covers of the catalogs. For those of you that are not familiar, this is our celebration brochure. And as I mentioned, if you place a qualifying order, then you will get to choose items for free from here. So every time you see free with $60 purchase, or you'll see here free with $120 purchase, you actually get to pick that item for free. So there are a variety of stamp sets, papers, there are dies in here, which is amazing. It's just 19 pages of fun. And if you do decide to host a party, or if you place a qualifying order, you'll also get another free stamp set. This cannot be purchased. This is not something that can be earned for free with Celebration. It's just if your order is over $375, you get to pick that for free. So you can actually put in a group order together with some friends and then qualify for that stamp set for free. So all the details that you might need are on my website. And I'm just going to write that out for you here. It's www.zarapremji.com. And there you will find links to join my mailing list. There's a link to my online store. There's a link to my YouTube channel, all sorts of fun things. So check it out, and I would love to hear from you if you have any questions. So the item that we are going to be playing with today is called the Summer Shadows Dies. You can find this on page 13 of the Celebration brochure, and I'll show you the dies up close. So it comes in a sleeve just like all of our other die cuts do. I haven't transferred these over to a magnet sheet yet, but there are 11 dies in here, and some of them coordinate perfectly with the stamp set, so you can actually cut out images, which you'll see me do today. And then there are other ones that are just more detailed floral dies that you can also use to add some die cut flowers to your project. So, and leaves actually, I should say. So it's a really, really versatile set of dies. And there are 11 dies, as I said. And so if you want to compare kind of value of this set of dies, which you would get for free, a similar size set of dies in our annual catalog usually retails for about $40 or more, okay? So I'll show you the stamp set that I'm going to be using. It's called Shaded Summer. And for those of you that have been watching me for a while, you know that I absolutely love flowers. However, this is one actually that I didn't purchase right away. I think because maybe I felt like I had so many floral stamp sets, I might have looked past it. And then, of course, I saw people posting cards with it, and then I just fell in love. So I decided I needed to have it, and I'm really glad I did because it's got some beautiful floral images in here, and then this really nice, fun sprig. And then there are so many sentiments. So there's some friendships are just meant to be. Thank you. Happy birthday. Above and beyond, you go there a lot. Hello, you. May the good you do come back to you, and love you, friend. So really a good set of versatile sentiments that you can use across a multitude of occasions. So that's what we're going to be using today. This is on page 75 of the annual catalog. If you love it and you don't already have it, you can purchase it from my online store. And as I mentioned, the link can be found here at zarapremji.com. Okay, I'm just going to stop and read some comments. Hello, Jamie. Thank you for joining, my friend. Janice says, I used your inspiration for the sympathy card you showcased recently using the delicate dahlias and made a similar card to send to a friend today. Thank you so much, Janice. I did post that today on my Facebook page for those of you that may have missed it. You can go back and see it. It's a very simple card. But I love how it turned out. And so I'm glad that it inspired you, Janice. Thanks, Shirley. Um, yeah, Janice feels my pain. The struggle is real. She didn't need the stamp set either, and then saw lots and lots of samples with it. Lastly, I just want to show you the mini catalog. So this is our holiday catalog, full of amazing stamp sets, papers, dies, ribbons, embellishments that you can use for your holiday project. And when I say holiday, it's not just Christmas. There's Thanksgiving, Halloween, and then there are actually some stamp sets in here that you can use for other occasions as well. So for example, this stamp set here that's called Joyful Life, there's a stamp that says, friends like you make life a joy. So it's not just all Christmas, okay? One of the last things that I want to share with you before we move on to me showing you some cards is my ordering special this month. So we have every month I have an ordering special where if you place a qualifying order with me, you'll get an item for free. So this month you will get the matte decorative dots if you place a $50 or more order in my online store. Okay, so I'm just going to show you them here. These are the matte decorative dots, and if you place an order of $50 or more in my online store using my host code, which I will include in the description, you will get a package of these matte decorative dots for free, okay? All right, let's get started. So last time I asked who would like to see a sneak peek and who does not want to see a sneak peek. And some of you actually asked to you wanted to be surprised. So I want you to tell me in the comments below, do you want to see the sneak peek or do you want to be surprised? Because then I can give you a warning right before I'm going to show you the card. And then none of you will, I won't be spoiling it for anyone. Okay. So I wanted to start by just sharing some happy mail that I received, some for my birthday and some just for fun. And it just always brightens my day to get a handmade card and then to read the message inside. So it's really important. I know I talk about all the time how I struggle with finding words sometimes to write inside a card, but I have to say that on the receiving end of it, when you actually get a handwritten note from somebody, it's just so meaningful. And I can never get rid of these because I just feel like I want to keep them forever and ever. So this is a card that I got from my friend and team member, Selena. And we actually just went out for dinner this week, and she gave me this card. It says, to a dear friend, and then just wrote a beautiful and long message on the inside. So that really made my day. This is with the Bloom Where You're Planted suite, which I'm totally in love with. So there was some fussy cutting happening, some stamping, die cutting, and then some texture embossing. So I really just love this card. This card was sent to me by a sideline, Chris Carmichael. And Chris, well, there are a group of us that couldn't go on the incentive trip this year. And some of us, depending on when we canceled the trip, received a package with luggage tags and things like that. And then there were others who canceled earlier who didn't actually receive that package from Stampin' Up. So some of us who had the luggage tags sent them to those that didn't get them. So I sent mine to Chris. And she sent me a little note, a thank you card that says a little note with a little thank you note inside. She was super grateful for the luggage tags. And it's a really nice memento of how hard, of the hard work that we put into trying to earn these incentive trips. And it's not always why we do what we do, but it's certainly a nice reward for the hard work. So that was from Chris. And this is also using the Bloom Where You're Planted suite. Okay, I'm seeing people want the sneak peeks. Okay, sneak peek, sneak peek. Okay, it seems like it's unanimous. I might still give a warning for those that may not have commented below before I show the card. This is from my friend Janice Keels, who's watching right now. And Janice sent me a birthday card. And this is using the Hydrangea Haven paper. This retired actually very recently. But I love the sentiment here. It says sent with lots of heart. I love the ribbon and the embossing. I just love all of it. The whole purple and blue scheme is beautiful. And she sent me a really nice, lovely note inside. So thank you, Janice. I was super happy to receive that. And then I got a card from my friend Sharon, who's out in British Columbia, and it says, "You're as sweet as a peach." And she just was thinking of me and sent me some happy mail and said, "Thank you for all you do." So it was really, it just made my day. And it just, I mean, I'm always feeling very fulfilled and rewarded, especially when I'm doing these Facebook Lives and chatting with all of you. But it was just really nice to get some happy mail. This is from my friend Sonia, and she sent me a gorgeous happy birthday card. This is using our Pretty Perennials bundle, which I think just retired. And it's a gorgeous one, and it's a gorgeous card. And she was just wishing me all the best on my special day. This one here is from Sandra Bruce, and she is a member of my team and also sent me a happy birthday card. And so it's just so nice to get happy mail, right? Like it just, I think the note inside just makes it that much more special, but it really just made my day to open up all of this. Hello, Sonia. Did you see I just shared the card that you sent me? So thank you so much for that. Okay, now I have to share with you another special card. This is not a Stampin' Up! Card. My daughter had a play date with a friend today. She went over to her friend's house, and they usually are playing with dolls, and they play with the sometimes the funniest things. Like they were throwing swimming pool floaties off the second level onto the main floor, and then throwing dolls into them to see if they could like it was like a target shooting game. Anyhow, so today she went over to her friend's house and she made me a card. So she drew this rainbow and colored it all in. And then on the inside, it says, "Dear Mama, I love you so much. I hope you have a great day. Love." And so she wrote here, "To Mommy from Meals." And I don't know if you can read that. I call her Meals. Her name is Amelia, and I call her Meals for short. Now, if I were to spell meals, I would do Meels. But she actually wrote Meals, which, as it's spelled correctly, that's how you would spell the word that refers to, like dinner is a meal. Anyway, so I just thought it was adorable. So she said she made me a little card, and then she drew a little heart and then put A and M for Mama. And that just made my day. So I can't even underestimate the power of a handwritten note. And that's something that I for sure will keep forever. Um, oh, Janice, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised to receive another birthday card. Oh, as Janice thought she hadn't mailed me the card, and she did, but now she's mailing me another. So I'm going to get two from Janice. Okay, friends, I am about to show you the card that I'm going to be making today. Again, for those of you that get Stampin' Up! Succeed weekly emails, this is not going to be a surprise. It may not be a surprise unless maybe you haven't opened it. But look away because I'm going to show the sneak peek and then I'm going to move it off the screen and then we'll get started. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the card. And this is, like I said, using the Shaded Summer stamp set and the Summer Shadows dies. Okay, so it's a really simple card and it's a really great way to use up your cardstock or designer series paper scraps. And I'm going to show you some other fun techniques of how to get this two-tone image as well as how to color your twine. Okay, card is gone for those of you that were looking away. You may now look back. Okay, you know that I really like to show variations that are really simple. So for those of you that are watching that, if you're ever in a rush to make a card or you are new to stamping and you just want to be able to make cards without investing in all the tools, then I always love to show kind of ways that you can modify this so that you can create a really simple card if you wanted. And even though I've been stamping for 8.5 years, you know, with working full time and having 3 kids and a busy life, I do find that I am often starved for time and I just need a quick card that I can take and run with me. So that is where our amazing note cards and envelopes come in. They come in a package of 20, and I believe that I think the whole package is $9.50. So you're looking at less than 50 cents a card, and they are a little bit smaller than our traditional card base size, but they also come with envelopes, and so you can just stamp a sentiment an image and a sentiment, and you're done really quickly. Okay. So I'm going to show you using 2 colors how you can get this two-tone image on your stamps. Okay, so I'm going to use my Petal Pink and my Flirty Flamingo. If you only have one ink pad, it's not necessary to do the two-tone. I'm just going to show you because it's a fun technique and a way to add some dimension to your card. Okay, so I'm just taking my stamp here and then I'm inking this up in Petal Pink. Okay, so I've got my ink on there. I'm going to close this so that my finger doesn't land in it. I mean, my whole hand land in it because that's exactly what would happen. And so I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo ink, which is just a more kind of intense shade of pink, and I'm going to just dab some Flirty Flamingo at the base of some of the flowers, okay, or in the center of the flower here. And then maybe I'll add a little bit here, okay? So I'm just adding some of that Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to just take this and stamp it into the center of my note card. Okay, so look at how pretty that is. And this is just, it's a simple note card, but I think that looks really beautiful. And then I can take my happy birthday stamp because sometimes I'm needing a birthday card in a pinch. And so I'm just going to grab my happy birthday stamp and I'm going to use a darker shade of ink. So if you have a dark neutral, actually, I think I'm going to use, I think I might use my Memento Black here. You could use any color that you want. I'm just going to use Memento Black because this is an ink color that many people tend to have. So I'm just going to stamp that right there. My birthday card is almost done. Just going to add a little bit of bling. And I'm just going to work with the champagne rhinestones here. I find the champagne rhinestones to be a very, like a versatile embellishment, can be used all the time. So I'm just going to take, what did I do here? My take your pick tool is falling apart. Hold on. There we go. So I'm just going to take, they don't come in strips like this. When you get the champagne rhinestones, they don't actually come in strips like this. I just had to cut them because I was including them in a class to go packet. Okay, so there you go. You have a really simple note card ready to go. And then you can also, I'm just going to remove some of the ink here. You can also stamp your envelope because you don't want to have any naked envelopes. And you can just stamp the corner of it like that. And then you've got a really nice coordinated note card and envelope. Okay, so that's a really great way to create a quick and easy card without using many supplies. So I just used my stamps, ink, note cards, and envelopes, and I added an embellishment, which also is not necessary. Okay, so tell me, hands up if you think that that might be the fastest card you've ever seen made. Tell me in the comments below if you could ever see yourself making a quick and easy note card like that. Or do you like to do really like stepped up fancy cards all the time? All right. Okay, I'm seeing lots and lots of thumbs up. That's awesome. Okay, so let me show you the card that I am making. And I mentioned before that I wanted to show you a couple of different techniques here. So one of them is a really great way to use your scraps, okay? So I'm taking a piece of basic white thick cardstock. So when I'm doing card bases that are white, I will always use our thick cardstock. I find our regular basic white cardstock just a little bit too thin for my liking for a card base. So I always use our thick thick basic white. And I'm going to take these strips here. So these strips measure 1/2 inch wide, and I find that I commonly have this width when I'm cutting my cardstock. Okay, so if I'm cutting layers and that sort of thing, I will often have 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch thick strips. So what you then want to do, and I'm using the same color combination that was in the card in the Succeed Weekly. It's Petal Pink, Soft Succulent, and Just Jade. Okay, I love these colors together. And so what you're just going to do is you're going to take the pieces of cardstock and just lay them out the way that you think you might want them oriented on your card. Okay, so I'm just taking them, lining them up. I'm not sticking anything down yet. I want to make sure that it's going to go span across the entire width of the card. And these measure about 5.5 inches wide. Okay, so you don't want them too short because then you won't be able to extend past the sides of the card base. Okay, so I'm just, Alana says it's the fastest she's ever seen. I kind of set myself up for that, didn't I? I basically I led you to answer that. Okay, so I'm just kind of, you can put them in whatever order you want. You can do this in whatever color you want. So there's just so many different possibilities. And you can also do this with designer series paper. So if you have some patterned paper, then you can, and you have strips of it, don't throw them out because you can actually use them and do something similar with this. Okay, so now that I've got the angle correct, I'm going to remove one strip, okay? And I'm just going to use my liquid glue and I'm going to go across like this from end to end. You can also use your double-sided tape runner if you want. I'm just going to use my liquid glue because when you are actually putting your other pieces down, you'll want to be able to have some room to kind of maneuver them just so that you can get everything aligned well. Okay, so now I'm putting the glue right onto the card base. The reason I don't put it here is because I don't want to actually go too far off the sides because then it's going to be a challenge to cut after. Okay, so I'm just going strip by strip, and then I almost did what I said not to do. I was almost about to put the glue on the strip, and it feels intuitive to put the glue on the actual cardstock strips, but for this particular method, I would highly suggest that you actually put the glue directly onto your card base, okay? So, and I do think liquid glue is probably going to be the most helpful. Okay, so I'm just lining these up. Thanks, Keisha. I'm glad that you love it. Yeah, it's always nice to just sometimes, like, I know sometimes we probably agonize over our card designs, but there are often times, like I said, where I need it one and done. Like I need to do it really quickly. And I don't think anybody would balk at getting a pretty note card and envelope. So, oh goodness, I might have, see, this is why liquid glue is helpful because I'm not far enough off that edge. So I'm actually going to lift that up. It's ripped a little bit, but I can still maneuver it. That was a little messier than I had hoped, but crisis averted. And now I'm going to do this one here. Okay, so I'm going to do my last petal pink strip. And there we've got end to end. Okay, now before I cut that, I'm going to just stamp onto my piece of vellum here. So I've got a piece of vellum that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I'm going to grab my soft succulent ink, and I'm taking the little sprig stamp that is included in this stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp this randomly. And the reason I'm doing this now is because when you stamp on vellum, you need to give it some time to dry. Okay, so just going to stamp that all over. Some of this is going to get covered anyhow, but I don't know. Maybe one more over here. Maybe one going this way. I don't know. I think that works. Let's see. Maybe one more over here just to fill in the corners because these will show. Okay. So now I'm just going to set that aside and let it dry for a bit while I work on the rest of the card. This reminds you of making quilts, Shirley? Aw, that's so nice. I've never quilted before, so I wonder if your techniques are similar to this. Okay, so now I've got all of my strips stuck down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip the card over. You could use your trimmer for this, but I wouldn't want you to accidentally cut the spine of your card off, okay? So using your paper snips, you just butt the blade against the spine of the card and just cut off these pieces here. Okay, so I'm just resting the blade against the spine of the card or the crease of the card. Oops, there we go. Okay, and I'm just using that as a guide. So I've got a nice clean edge here that I've cut. And so you can now see how that looks really nice and clean. Okay, if you have little bits that are still sticking out, you can just trim them with the paper snips. They're fantastic for that. So now I'm going to do my top edge, and again, I'm taking the blade and I'm just resting it against the side of the card, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, you want to be careful not to trim off the sides of your card. But if you did, it would be so slight that you wouldn't really be able to tell. Okay, so now look at that, right? See how fun it is to create that pattern, and just tell me in the comments some of the different color combinations that you might try this with, because I love the greens with the pink, but I could see that the possibilities would be endless with this. I would love to hear some color combos that you might try with this particular technique. Okay, so while we are waiting for that to dry, I'm going to take this sentiment that says love you friend, and I'm going to ink up in soft succulent ink, and I'm just going to stamp that on a piece of white cardstock. And I'll put this aside for now. So let's do our stamping and die cutting. So I'm going to take that same stamp that I did on the note card, and I'm going to do the same thing and stamp it on this piece of white cardstock. Okay, so I'm just going to ink this up and then set that aside. Hello, Denise at the lake house. Oh, with your girlfriends. How lovely. Hello, Denise's girlfriends. Sounds lovely. Sounds like a perfect retreat. Okay, so now I'm taking my Flirty Flamingo ink, and again, I'm just going to apply some ink to the base of some of these flowers and the center of this one here. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this onto my white cardstock. Okay, so I'm doing all the other steps that I need to do before I handle that vellum piece, because like I said, it's going to take a bit of time to dry. You could also use your heat tool to give it some time to help it along. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my Summer Shadows dies, and I'm going to take out this one here. And again, you can see how perfectly this will cut out this image. So I love the fact that our dies will cut out so many of our images, because again, I don't want to spend so much time, you know, doing the actual cutting and that sort of thing. So I feel like any steps that could be sped up for me, there's tremendous value in that. And then when you can actually get dies for free, it's even better. Okay. Oh, hello, Darlene from Denise's Lake House. How lovely. So I'm just reading some color combination suggestions. So Janice is saying shades of blue, red and green, perhaps black and orange. For Halloween, that would be really cool, actually. And even if you introduce some purple, that would be cool. Shirley's saying gray and blue. Keisha says rich raspberry espresso and maybe misty moonlight. Ooh, that would be lovely. I love these color combos. And you know what? Truth be told, they're not ones that I would have actually thought of. So awesome. I'm so glad you're sharing. So I am just getting my die ready. I've got my Post-it tape stuck down, and I'm just going to roll that through and then remove that. I might have to stop and drink a little bit of water. I feel like my throat is getting very dry. Sorry. Okay. So we've got this cut, and I'm just pulling that Post-it tape off. And there we go. We have this perfectly die cut image, which is two-tone because I've done the Flirty Flamingo. You could do lots of fun things with this. You could add a little bit of Wink of Stella to create some glitter. Tell me in the comments if you'd like to see what that looks like, if you think I should add some Wink of Stella or just leave it as it is. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is coloring your ribbon. So you can color any ribbon or twine, okay? So using our Stampin' Blends, or you could use a sponge dauber and an ink pad. So let me see, if I have enough here, I'll show you both techniques. So what I do is I tie my bow first, just so that I know how much length I'm going to need. Okay, so I've got my bow, and I'll show you, I think I should have enough to show you two ways to color the twine. So we've got that one, and then we've got this one here. And I will, you can tell I like white twine. This is the color that is has been most used out of all of my twines. Love the white. Okay, so two different ways to color the twine any color you want. So the first one I'm going to show you, since we were using the sponge dauber and Flirty Flamingo ink, is I'm going to do that to my ribbon. So let's see how this goes. So I'm just taking the twine, and I am running my sponge dauber over it. You might need to do this a few times so you can see that line in the ink pad where I have done it. Okay, so now this is going to get a little messy. Let me grab, I'm just going to use a tissue to hold this because I'm going to have ink all over my hands, and then for sure I will transfer it to my card. Okay, so this is one way, right? You could do this with any ink color that you want and a little sponge dauber. So that is our Flirty Flamingo. You want to let that dry a little bit, and that's one way that you can use to color it. The other way is to take a Stampin' Blend. So I'm going to use my Calypso Coral, and I'm going to just run the brush tip. Hopefully, you know what, I'm going to go with my, look, you can see that I've done this before. So my light Calypso Coral is running out of ink. So I'm going to go with the dark here. And I'm just going to hold this down, and I'm going to run my Stampin' Blend over it. This is much darker than I had wanted, but it's okay. It'll still be pretty. Okay, so that's our dark Calypso Coral. And I'm going to do the same thing here, where I'm just dragging the twine under the brush tip of the Stampin' Blend. Okay. All right. Okay, so there you go. We've got like just a, you could use it. I mean, in that Baker's Twine pack, there are 5 different colors. So you would be fine to use any of those. But if you wanted a specific color, you could absolutely do it in one of these. Okay. So now I feel like I can start to maybe work with some of the other pieces of my card. So let me see here. So I've got you can see now I've got the vellum that's stamped. Do I want it this way? I don't know. I don't know if I want it right side up or upside down. I kind of like this muted look. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. Now, before you stick your vellum down, I would suggest that you start by sticking on your other pieces, because then you can add your adhesive behind the vellum where you know that it's covered with other elements so that you don't see the adhesive through the vellum. Yes, for Wink of Stella. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't have. I should have checked the comments before I removed my dimensional backings, but we can still do it. So let me grab my Wink of Stella here. And this is like one of my favorite things to use. So sometimes when you squeeze the chamber, I find I get a little too much coming out. So I always just check it first on my paper. And oh, good call, friends. It's beautiful. So I'm just going over the spot where I added the flirty flamingo. Okay, so I'm not going to color the whole flower, just going to color parts of it. But wow, this is like very calming. It feels so good. Okay, so I'm just adding some Wink of Stella. Oh, it's so shimmery and pretty. I'm glad you guys told me to do this. Okay. We are almost done here, and I'll hold it up close to the camera so you can see how beautiful and shimmery it is. I hope you can see it. Okay, let's see. So I hope you can see that it's so pretty and shimmery. Oh, I don't know if you can. I'm looking at it on the camera. Oh goodness, it's really hard to see, but I promise you it's shimmering and it's beautiful. I'm just going to trim the ends of my sentiment here. And let's see which ribbon. We'll use the Calypso Coral. If I wasn't doing this on camera, I would probably give this a little bit more time to dry. There we go, because it's transferring a little bit to my fingers. So I'm just going to trim the tails, and then we're going to put that. It kind of looks a bit like Cajun Craze to me, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit because that's not my favorite color, but oh, okay. Are we going to love this, or do I need to change it? It's kind of pretty. It adds a little bit of contrast, right? Trying to think. Okay, you know what? We're gonna go with it because it's gonna be pretty. But it does look a bit like Cajun Craze to me. Oh, you can all see it. Awesome. Okay. I couldn't see it on my computer screen, so I wasn't sure if you could. Okay, so we're gonna go with it. And I have to get into Cajun Craze mode because it's fall. And so, that's the only time of the year that I use Cajun Craze is the fall. And I know some of you love that color, so it's, just personal preference. I like lots of pinks and greens and pool party and those kinds of things. So, okay. So I better wipe this off because I'm for sure gonna make a mess here, as I've already done. Now I'm going to add my sentiment. I'm also going to use dimensionals for this. And then I haven't forgotten that I haven't stuck down my vellum yet. I know I need to do that. Hello, Dawn. I just saw your name pop up. Oh, hello, Nicole. I missed some of you that have hopped on. Okay. Oh, thank you, Keisha. Hello, Lucy. Oh, look at so many of you are watching from Lucy's sorry, from Denise's lake house. That's so awesome. Okay, hold on. I should maybe not talk. I need to concentrate on this right now and make sure that I've got that straight. Okay. All right. So I can adjust that later. So here's what I'm going to do now. You can see that some of the ink has transferred over here, so that's why it's really important to let the ink dry when you're stamping on vellum. Okay, let me just see if I can find my other take your pick tool. No, I'm just going to use my paper snips here to pick up some of these glue dots, and I'm just going to stick them behind where I've got my dimensionals. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I just don't want these to peek through the vellum, so that's why I'm actually just putting them behind where the white cardstock pieces are so that it's hidden. And then if you really feel like you need to add more because ends are sticking up, you can totally do that. It's not a big deal if you see a little glue dot sticking out from behind. And one more. Actually, two more. We're going to put one here. And this will just help secure the vellum to the card. Okay. So now I'm going to center this. So does anybody else have tons of cardstock strips? So I once in a while I will do a cardstock clean out, and if I have I have like these little drawer units where I put my scraps, and if I have too many of them, I just throw them out. But I know I often have a hard time throwing them out because I think to myself, well, I could do something with these cardstock strips or these DSP strips, and then it pains me to get rid of them. So are you one of those people that throws everything out, or do you tend to keep your cardstock strips? Tell me in the comments below while I try and find my champagne rhinestones. Here we go. Shirley saving all of her cardstock strips. Yeah. Anybody else? All right, so let's embellish this. Okay, so this is where I was saying that, if you have like some ends that are sticking up, you might want to add another glue dot. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to pick up a glue dot with my snips, and I might just put it right behind where the stamp is. So that you don't see it too much, right? You can just see it ever so faintly there, but that's just going to help that stay down. Okay, and you could do one behind here if you wanted, but I think it's okay the way it is. And now I'm going to do a little bit of blinging. I love sparkle on my cards. Do one here, maybe another little one over here. And then let's do kind of one of this middle size one here, and then a smaller one down here. And that is it, my friends. That's all she wrote. That's the card. So I hope you like that. Look at my mess here. It's I call it the crafter math. So there you go. This is the one with the wink of Stella and with the dark Calypso coral twine. And this one here is non-wink of Stella, but it's got the light Calypso coral twine. So those are the two cards. I'm just going to see oh, Betty donates to daycare. What a great idea. I definitely have to look into that because there are times where I've just tossed it in the recycling because I'm like overwhelmed by all the stuff in my craft space and I can't handle it. So that's a great suggestion. Oh, thank you, Alana. Thanks, Shirley. Thank you, Sonia, Janice. Oh, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so, so much. So that's it for me tonight. Like I said, you can order all of these supplies from my online store if you don't already have a demonstrator. I would be happy to be your demonstrator. And if your order is over $50 this month, you're going to get a free pack of embellishments from me. But if you're at 50, I would recommend go over 60 because then you can get a celebration item for free. So please continue to comment below. If you're watching the replay, please do make sure you comment and I will draw a lucky winner to receive one of my cards in the mail. And I just want to thank you all so much for being here. Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you, Margaret Ann. Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate you guys so much. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this evening and hang out with me. And I will definitely be back here Sunday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time for coffee and a card. And I will actually post these pictures on my page within the next couple of days. I hope they inspire you. If you do, actually, sorry, I'm going to pause for a second because I did notice another difference on my card that I forgot to mention to you. On my original card, this is how my brain works, okay? On my original card, I actually stamped the sprigs in Versamark ink right onto the strips, okay? So I did it on vellum this time. So you have both options. You could stamp directly onto the strips if you wanted, or you can stamp on the vellum, okay? What was I gonna say? I've forgotten now. I will post these pictures to my Facebook page. And if you have any questions or if I can help with anything, please let me know. I know what I was gonna say. If you do try this layout and you do use up some of your cardstock strips and create a card, I would love to see it. So definitely share it with me or you can post it and tag me in it. I would love to see. And I hope you all have a great night and great rest of the week. And thank you again for being here. Bye for now.